into the man who tricked the devil. The porch light was still on when they found the first carved pumpkin sitting on Mrs. Chen's doorstep. Not the one she'd put there. This one was different. Older, heavier, with a face that looked less carved and more clawed. And it was bleeding, not orange pulp. Real blood, pooling thick and dark around the base, seeping into the welcome mat. That was 3 hours ago. Now every house on Sycamore Drive had one. If you've ever lived in a quiet American neighborhood like this, the kind with basketball hoops in driveways and those inflatable Halloween decorations that groan in the wind, you know how one strange sound can change everything. How the silence between houses suddenly feels too wide, too empty. This is Coldwater, Pennsylvania. Population 4,200. The kind of town where everyone knows the high school quarterback's name and the diner still has a jukebox that plays Creedence. Where Halloween means homemade costumes, not store-bought. Where parents let their kids stay out until 9. Maybe 10 if they're with the older kids. Where nothing bad has happened since 1993, until tonight. Let me tell you about Jack Kiernan, not the Jack Kiernan you're thinking of. Not yet. I'm talking about the first one, the original, the man this whole thing started with, back when Coldwater was just a trading post and a prayer. Back in 1842, he lived in a cabin 3 miles outside town, where the woods get so thick you can't see the sky. Jack was what people back then called a sharp dealer, the kind of man who could sell you your own horse and make you thank him for it. He ran cards, traded furs, and owed money to half the settlement. But his real talent, Jack Kiernan could talk. They say he once talked a preacher out of his Bible, talked a widow into giving him her late husband's gold watch, talked his way out of a hanging in Pittsburgh by convincing the judge he was somebody else entirely. The stories about Jack spread across 3 counties. Farmers warned their sons about him. Merchants kept their hands on their cash boxes when he walked into their stores. Women crossed the street when they saw him coming, not because he was dangerous, but because he was convincing. And that was worse. Jack had a way of making you believe anything. He could look you dead in the eye and tell you the sun rose in the west. And you'd find yourself nodding along, checking your compass, wondering if maybe you'd been wrong your whole life. But Jack had a problem. The same problem that catches up to every con man eventually. He believed his own lies. So when the devil came for him on Halloween night, 1842, Jack did what Jack did best. He made a deal. Tell me if this sounds familiar. That one story in your town everyone half remembers. The local legend your parents mentioned once and never brought up again. The name that makes the old-timers at the hardware store go quiet. In Coldwater, that name is Jack Kiernan. The story goes like this. The devil appeared to Jack on All Hallows Eve. Come to collect on a bargain Jack didn't even remember making. Drunk gambling debt, probably. A promise muttered at a crossroads. The kind of thing you say when you're 25 and stupid and you think consequences are for other people. The devil materialized in Jack's cabin just after midnight, stepping out of the fireplace like smoke taking shape. He wore a black suit, the expensive kind, the kind Jack could never afford no matter how many card games he won. His smile was too white, too perfect. Jack Kiernan, the devil said, and his voice sounded like every bad decision Jack had ever made. It's time. Jack was drunk. He'd been drinking since sundown, celebrating a particularly good con. He'd pulled on a land speculator from Philadelphia. But he sobered up fast when he saw those eyes. They weren't red. They weren't glowing. They were just empty, like looking into a well with no bottom. Time for what? Jack asked, though he already knew. You made me a promise, Jack, 7 years ago at the crossroads near Miller's Creek. You said you'd give me anything for one more winning hand. Jack remembered. God help him, he remembered. That poker game in the back room of the trading post. He'd been down to his last dollar. One more loss, and he'd have had to leave town, start over somewhere else, admit he wasn't as smart as everyone thought. So he'd whispered to the darkness. Just once. Just that one time, and he'd won. I was drunk, Jack said. You were desperate, the devil corrected. There's a difference. I didn't think. That's your problem, Jack. You never think. You just talk. The devil stepped closer. But words have weight. Promises have power. And deals are forever. But Jack, smooth as ever, held up one finger. "Before you take me, grant me one last request. Just one drink from my favorite cup. You can give a dying man that much, can't you?" The devil, amused, agreed. Why not? He had eternity. What's one more minute? Jack reached up to the mantel and took down an old tin cup. It was battered, dented, the kind of thing you'd find in any frontier cabin. But Jack had carried that cup since he was 16. It had been his father's and his grandfather's before that. The only honest thing Jack Kiernan owned. He poured whiskey into it, cheap stuff, burning and harsh, and raised it to his lips. But before he drank, he pulled out his pocket knife. The same one he'd used to carve his initials into every card table from here to Philadelphia. The same one he'd used to mark trees on property lines he was trying to steal. The same one that had been in his hand for every lie, every con, every moment of his crooked life, and he carved a cross into the side of that cup. His hand moved fast, 3 cuts, deep and deliberate. The whiskey spilled over his fingers, mixing with blood where the knife slipped and cut his thumb. The moment the devil's eyes landed on that holy symbol, he screamed. The sound shattered every window in the cabin. The fire in the hearth exploded, sending embers across the floor. The walls shook, like the whole structure was about to collapse. The devil staggered back, smoke rising from his skin where his gaze had touched the cross. He couldn't look away. Couldn't move. The sacred symbol held him like chains, like iron bars, like a cage made of faith Jack didn't even possess. And Jack just smiled. "Here's the deal," Jack said, and his voice was steady now, cold and calculating. "You leave me alone, forever. You never come for my soul, never speak my name, never claim what you think you're owed. And in return, I'll eventually let you out of this," the devil raged. He threatened. He offered Jack wealth beyond measure, power beyond imagining, pleasures that would make kings weep with envy. But Jack didn't budge. He'd finally won a fair game, and he was going to savor it. Finally, with no other choice, the devil agreed, but he added his own terms. "Because that's the thing about deals with the devil, there's always fine print. You'll live," the devil said. Voice like a chimney collapsing, like bones breaking, like the last breath of a drowning man. "But you'll never die. You'll walk this earth every Halloween night, watching everyone you love grow old and turn to dust. You'll be forgotten over and over. Your name will become a ghost story. Your face will fade from every memory. And when you finally beg me to take you, when you're so tired of walking that death seems like paradise, I'll remind you, we had a deal." Jack laughed. He thought he'd won. He scratched a mark on the cabin wall with his knife, a tally, the first of many, and released the devil. The devil vanished like smoke up a chimney, and Jack Kiernan poured himself another drink, convinced he was the smartest man who ever lived. That was the last time anyone saw Jack Kiernan alive or dead. The next morning, his cabin was empty. His belongings were still there. His bed was still warm. But Jack was gone, and every Halloween night after that, people in Coldwater reported seeing a man in old-fashioned clothes walking the roads at midnight. Always alone, always heading somewhere, never stopping. Some people said it was Jack's ghost. Others said it was the devil still looking for him, but the old folks knew the truth. And they never ever went outside on Halloween night. Now we're back in Coldwater, present day. Halloween 2024. It's 6:47 p.m. when Sheriff Aaron Vasquez gets the first call. Mrs. Chen, the retired art teacher on Sycamore Drive. Voice shaking so hard he can barely understand her. "There's something on my porch, Aaron. Something. Hold me wrong. Aaron's been sheriff for 6 years. Before that, he was a deputy for 8. Before that, he was a kid in this same town, trick-or-treating on these same streets. He's handled noise complaints, a few drunken disorderlies, one tractor accident that turned into a 3-car pileup on Route 19. He's scraped teenagers out of wrapped Hondas and talked down a man threatening to jump off the Route 88 overpass. He's never heard fear like this in someone's voice. When he arrives, he sees the pumpkin. It's massive, so maybe 40 pounds, and it's old. The rind is tough, leathery, mottled with age spots, like something that's been sitting in a cellar for months. The face carved into it doesn't look like the grinning jack-o'-lanterns on every other porch. It looks pained, agonized. The mouth is open too wide like a scream frozen mid-sound. The eyes are hollow and desperate, and they seem to follow Aaron as he approaches. And yes, there's blood. Aaron crouches down, touches it with a gloved finger. It's warm, fresh, still trickling slowly down the curve of the pumpkin, staining Mrs. Chen's welcome mat dark. He looks up at her. She's standing in her doorway, arms wrapped around herself, still wearing her apron from making Halloween treats. She's 73 years old. She taught Aaron's daughter in 3rd grade. She's never called him by anything but his first name. "I didn't put it there," she whispers. "I was inside making popcorn balls for the kids. I came out to check the bowl and it was just there, like it grew there. Like it was always supposed to be there." Aaron stands, wipes his glove on his pants. He can see his breath in the air now, even though it's only late October, even though it shouldn't be this cold yet. "Probably some teenagers," he says, but the words sound hollow even to him. "Bad joke. I'll check the security cameras." "Aaron," Mrs. Chen says quietly, "look at the other houses." He turns. Every house on the block has one. Same size, same agonized face. Same blood pooling at the base. The street is silent. No trick-or-treaters yet. No parents walking with flashlights. No sound except the wind moving through the inflatable decorations, making them sway and groan. What would you have done? Stayed inside or opened the door? Aaron's radio crackles. It's Deputy Lisa Ortega, her voice tight and professional, but with an edge he's never heard before. "Sheriff, we've got more. Maple Street, Pinewood Court, Riverside, every block in the development." Aaron feels his throat go dry. "How many?" "At least 200, maybe more. They're still coming in. Call, Sheriff. Everyone's seeing them. Everyone's freaking out." Aaron looks back at the pumpkin on Mrs. Chen's porch. The face seems different now. The expression has changed just slightly. The mouth looks less like a scream and more like relief. "Tell people to stay inside," Aaron says into the radio. "Cancel trick-or-treating. Put it out on social media. Call the school. Contact the HOA." Already getting pushback. "Parents are saying their kids have been waiting all year." "I don't care. Nobody goes outside until we figure out what this is." But it's too late for that, because at exactly 7 p.m., when the sun finally drops below the tree line and the street lights flicker on in sequence down Sycamore Drive, every single pumpkin on every single porch in Coldwater starts to whisper. Emily Voss is 14. She's dressed as a zombie bride, makeup she watched 6 TikToks to get right, a dress from Goodwill she tore up herself, fake blood she made from corn syrup and food coloring. She's been planning this costume since August, designing it in her notebook during study hall, texting pictures to her friends, building the anticipation. She's standing on her front porch with her little brother Danny, age 9, dressed as Spider-Man for the 3rd year running because he loves that character more than anything else in the world. He's holding his plastic pumpkin bucket, the orange one with the jack-o'-lantern face that's been in their family since their dad was a kid. Their dad isn't here anymore. He left 3 years ago, moved to Pittsburgh, calls twice a month if they're lucky. So Halloween matters now. It's one of the good nights. One of the nights where Mom doesn't cry in the kitchen after they go to bed. They're waiting for the sun to fully set, for the official start of trick-or-treating. When their pumpkin starts to speak, it's not loud. It's barely a sound at all. Just a soft, raspy voice, like wind through a crack in a wall, like someone who hasn't used their voice in a very long time. "Let me in." Danny grabs Emily's hand. His fingers are small and cold. "Did you hear?" "Shh," the voice comes again. "Please, let me in. I'm so tired." Emily's mom appears in the doorway, phone pressed to her ear, face pale in the glow of the screen. She's been texting the other neighborhood mums for the past 10 minutes, trying to figure out if trick-or-treating is still happening, if everyone else is seeing what they're seeing. "Get inside," she says. "Now, Mom, the pumpkin inside." But Emily can't move. Because she's looking at the face carved into the pumpkin now, really looking, and she sees something she didn't before. The face is changing, shifting. The cuts are moving like skin, like muscles beneath the rind, and the expression is morphing from agony into something else. Gratitude, relief, freedom. And then the mouth moves. Actually moves, the rind splitting and reforming like clay. "Thank you," it whispers. "Thank you for opening the door." Emily's heart stops. "We didn't open. The porch light goes out. Not just theirs, every light on the block." The street goes dark, plunging into shadow so complete it feels solid, feels like something pressing against Emily's skin. And Emily hears footsteps. Not from the street. From inside the pumpkin, heavy boots on wooden planks. The creak of old leather. The sound of joints that haven't bent in decades, centuries, creaking back to life. The sound of someone who's been walking for a very, very long time and has finally been allowed to stop. Danny screams. It's high and sharp and terrified. The kind of scream that comes from somewhere primal. Somewhere that remembers when humans were prey. Their mom lunges forward, grabs them both by their costumes, hauls them inside, and slams the door. The deadbolt clicks. The chain slides into place. Through the window, Emily sees a shape standing on their porch. Tall, thin, wearing clothes that look like they're from a history book. A tattered coat with tails, a high-collared shirt yellowed with age, trousers held up with suspenders, boots caked with mud from a century's worth of roads. The man tilts his head, and Emily sees his face. He's young, maybe 25, with dark hair and sharp features, and eyes that might have been handsome once, before they went flat and empty. He's smiling, not a cruel smile, not an evil smile, just tired, so tired. Then he turns and walks down the steps into the street, where other shapes are emerging from other porches. Dozens of them, hundreds, all wearing the same old clothes, all with the same empty smile, all moving in the same direction, like they've been waiting for this moment for longer than memory. "Mom," Danny whispers. "What are they?" Their mom doesn't answer. She's staring out the window, and her face has gone completely white. "Call 911, she says. "Right now." Emily pulls out her phone. Her hands are shaking so badly she can barely unlock it. "If this happened in your town, who would you call? The police? Your parents? Or would you just run?" The 911 system is overloaded within 10 minutes. Calls pouring in from every neighborhood, every street, every house with a pumpkin on the porch. People screaming about intruders, about figures in old-fashioned clothes, about voices coming from their decorations, about shadows that walk like men. The operator is a woman named Diane, who's worked dispatch for 16 years. She's handled domestic disputes, medical emergencies, car accidents, house fires. She's heard every kind of panic in the human voice. She's never heard this. "They're in our yard," one caller sobs. "They're just standing there, staring at the house. There's a woman on my porch in a dress from like the 1800s. She won't leave. She keeps knocking. My daughter says she recognizes one of them from her history textbook. A photograph of the town founders." Diane tries to keep her voice calm, tries to follow protocol, but there's no protocol for this. She looks at the screen showing active calls. 73 calls waiting. 89. 112. Every single one from Coldwater. Aaron is in his patrol car, trying to make sense of the radio chatter when he sees one of them walking down Main Street. He's maybe 30, maybe 300. Hard to tell. He's wearing a waistcoat and trousers that look hand-stitched, and he's carrying a leather satchel that's so worn it's nearly white. His boots leave no footprints on the sidewalk. Aaron pulls up beside him, window down, hand near his weapon but not on it. "Not yet. Sir, I need you to stop." The man doesn't stop. Doesn't even look. Just keeps walking with that steady, measured pace, like he's been walking forever and doesn't know how to stop. "Sir, I'm ordering you to..." The man turns his head. His eyes are pale like old glass, like cataracts, like fog. "I'm not stopping, Sheriff. I've been walking for 182 years. I'm not stopping now." Aaron's hand moves to his gun. "Who are you?" The man smiles. It's not cruel. It's not threatening. It's just tired. Bone deep, soul deep tired. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Try me. The man stops walking. He looks up at the sky. The moon is huge tonight, orange and bloated like a harvest moon, but wrong somehow, too close, too bright. And he laughs. It's a dry, papery sound, like old pages turning. My name's Jack Kiernan, and I finally figured out the trick. Aaron feels his stomach drop. Every kid in Coldwater grows up hearing that name. It's the local boogeyman. The ghost story you tell around campfires, the legend that gets whispered in the cafeteria on Halloween, but it's not real. It can't be real. That's not possible, Aaron says. You're right. It's not. Jack reaches into his satchel and pulls out an old tin cup. Even in the dark, Aaron can see the cross carved into the side, deep and deliberate. But here's the thing about curses, Sheriff. They have rules, laws, boundaries, and if you're smart enough, if you're patient enough, if you're willing to wait long enough, you can always find the loophole. What loophole? Jack's smile widens. His teeth are yellow, old, but perfectly intact. The devil said I'd walk the earth every Halloween. He said I'd be alone. He said I'd never die. Jack gestures to the street, where more figures are appearing, stepping out of the shadows like they've been waiting just out of sight. He never said I had to walk by myself. Aaron's blood goes cold. What did you do? I shared the curse. Jack's voice is matter-of-fact, like he's explaining simple mathematics. Every person who died in this town on Halloween night, every soul that passed while I was walking, they're all part of it now, all tied to me, all bound by the same deal I made. That's 247 people, Sheriff. Going back to 1842, children who died of fever, women who died in childbirth, men who died in accidents, in fights, in their sleep. All of them gone on Halloween night. All of them mine. Jack turns and starts moving again. The devil wanted me to be alone forever, so I made sure I never would be. Aaron gets out of the car. His legs feel weak. Where are you going? Jack doesn't turn around. To find the devil and make a new deal. You can't. I can. And I will. Because I'm done, Sheriff. I'm so tired of walking. And they... Jack glances back at the growing crowd behind him. Their faces blank, their eyes empty. They deserve better than this. Aaron watches him disappear into the crowd. Behind him, more patrol cars are pulling up, sirens wailing, lights flashing red and blue across the buildings. Lisa Ortega runs up, out of breath. Sheriff, what the hell is going on? Aaron doesn't know how to answer. He looks at the street, at the procession of the dead moving through Coldwater like a river, silent except for the sound of their footsteps. I think, he says slowly, we're watching a curse break. There's always that one person who says, I saw something that night. If you've ever heard a story like that, you know the look in their eyes. Emily's mom has that look now. They're huddled in the living room, lights off, curtains drawn, TV playing old sitcom reruns at low volume just to fill the silence. Danny won't let go of Emily's hand. His Spider-Man mask is pushed up on his head, his face pale and streaked with tears. This happened before. Their mom whispers, when I was a kid. 1993, Halloween night. Emily stares at her. Wattsy people saw figures in old clothes. Walking through town, the adults didn't talk about it. The police said it was mass hysteria, but we all saw them, all us kids. We saw them walk right down Main Street. She's gripping her phone so hard, her knuckles are white. I thought it was a dream. For years, I convinced myself it was just a dream. But it happened. What happened to them? They were gone by midnight, just vanished, like they were never there. And in the morning, nobody would talk about it. My parents told me I had a nightmare. My friends said the same thing. But I knew. She looks at Emily, and her eyes are wet. I knew it was real. Mom, Danny says quietly, voice shaking. What if they don't vanish this time? No one answers. From outside, they hear footsteps. Dozens of them, hundreds, marching in rhythm like a parade, or a funeral procession, or an army. Emily creeps to the window, peeks through the curtain. The street is full of them now. Men, women, children, all in old-fashioned clothes from different eras, colonial outfits, Victorian dresses, suits from the 1920s, farmers' overalls from the Depression. all walking in the same direction, toward the edge of town, toward the woods, toward the place where the roads stop and the trees swallow the moonlight, and at the front of the procession, leading them all like some kind of grim shepherd, is Jack Kiernan. He's holding the tin cup high above his head like a torch, like a banner, like a symbol of something Emily doesn't understand. Emily watches them disappear into the darkness, and then she sees something else. At the end of the line, moving slow, struggling to keep up, is a small figure. A girl, maybe 10 years old, wearing a dress that looks homemade. Rough stitching, plain fabric, the kind of thing a frontier family would have made by candlelight. She keeps looking back, like she's scared, like she doesn't want to go, like she's trying to remember something. Emily recognizes the direction she's looking. It's the corner of Pinewood and Oak. 3 blocks from here, the girl is staring at a house Emily knows. The yellow one with the tire swing, the one with the garden gnomes and the painted mailbox. That's the Brennan house, where Jenny Brennan lives. The quiet girl from Emily's biology class, the one who always sits in the back and never raises her hand. The girl in the old-fashioned dress has Jenny's eyes, the same shape, the same color, the same sadness in them. Emily's breath catches in her throat. "Mom," she whispers. "I think I know who they are." Aaron is following them. He doesn't know what else to do. The procession moves through Coldwater like a river of ghosts, silent except for the footsteps. No one speaks. No one breaks formation. They just walk, steady and patient, like they've been waiting for this moment for lifetimes. Other police cars have joined him. Lisa is in the car behind him. 2 state troopers pulled off Route 88 when they heard the calls. They're all just following, watching. None of them know what else to do. Aaron radios Lisa. Where are they heading? Looks like Old Mill Road, toward the woods. There's nothing out there. There's the cabin, the historical site, the one they fenced off in '92. Aaron's hands tighten on the wheel. The Kiernan cabin, the place where it all started. The place that's been abandoned for over a century, surrounded by chain-link fence and warning signs, slowly rotting back into the earth. He floors it, pulling ahead of the procession, speeding down the winding country roads until he reaches the turnoff for Old Mill Road. The cabin is small, rotted, barely standing. The Historical Society put up a plaque in the 80s, site of the Kiernan homestead, Est 1839, but no one visits. The woods around it are too dense, too dark. The path is overgrown. The fence is rusted. People say it feels wrong out here, like the trees are watching, like the ground remembers. When Aaron arrives, Jack and his procession are already standing in the clearing. 247 people, perfectly still, perfectly silent, facing the cabin in neat rows like soldiers at attention. And in front of them, sitting on the sagging porch, is something else. It's not a man, not exactly. It's shaped like a man, but the proportions are wrong. Too tall, too thin. Its arms hang too long. Its fingers are too many, or not enough. It's hard to tell in the moonlight. Its head tilts at an angle that necks shouldn't bend. The devil doesn't look like fire and horns. He doesn't look like the paintings in old churches or the illustrations in children's books. He looks like an old salesman in a suit that doesn't fit right. He looks like the stranger who offers you a ride when your car breaks down. He looks like the man at the bar who seems friendly until you notice his smile never reaches his eyes. He looks normal, unremarkable, forgettable. And that's the worst part. Jack, the devil says, and his voice is smooth as oil, warm as summer, friendly as an old acquaintance. It's been a long time. How many years now? I lose count. Jack steps forward out of the crowd. He's still holding the cup. The cross glints in the moonlight. 182 years. I've kept count, the devil laughs. It sounds like wind chimes made of bone, like children singing off key, like every pleasant sound turned slightly wrong. Of course you have. You always were good with numbers, good with details. That's why I liked you, Jack. You paid attention. I want to make a new deal. The devil tilts his head, that unnatural angle again, that wrongness that makes Aaron's stomach turn. You already made one. That's the point. That's the whole beautiful tragedy of it. Then let's renegotiate. Jack sets the cup on the ground between them, in the dirt, in the dead grass that nothing grows in anymore. You take me, right now. End the curse. Let me finally rest. Why would I do that? The devil stands. He's taller than Aaron thought. Taller than the trees. Taller than the sky. Or maybe he's normal-sized and the world has shrunk around him. It's impossible to tell. We have an agreement. You get to live forever, and I get to watch you suffer. That was the deal. That wasn't the deal, wasn't it? See, the devil steps down from the porch. His feet make no sound. You wanted to escape death, Jack. I granted that. You wanted to be clever. I let you be clever. You wanted to win. So you won. What are you complaining about? Jack's jaw tightens. I'll keep doing this. Every Halloween, forever, I'll keep spreading the curse. More people, more souls. I'll bind every death in this town to me. Every person who dies on Halloween will become part of my procession. In 10 years, there'll be 500. In 100 years, there'll be thousands. You think that bothers me? The devil laughs again, and this time it sounds like screaming. Jack, I'm the devil. Suffering is what I do. If you want to damn more souls, be my guest. You're doing my work for me. They're innocent, Jack's voice cracks. It's the first emotion Aaron has heard from him. They didn't ask for this. They didn't make any deals. They just died on the wrong night in the wrong town. That's not fair. Fair? The devil's smile widens. His teeth are too white. Too many. Since when do you care about fair, Jack? You spent your whole life cheating people, lying, stealing, conning widows out of their savings. And now you want to talk about fair? Jack looks back at the crowd behind him. At the 247 souls standing silent in the moonlight, children holding their parents' hands. Women in wedding dresses, men in work clothes, all of them dead. All of them trapped, all of them because of him. So here's the real deal, Jack says, turning back to the devil. His voice is steady now, resolved. You take me, right now. You end it. And they all go free, back to their rest, back to wherever they're supposed to be, back to peace. The devil tilts his head. And if I say no? Jack picks up the cup. The cross catches the moonlight. Then I carve another one. Right here, right now. And I trap you again. And this time, Jack Kiernan, trickster and conman, and the biggest fool who ever lived, will make sure you never get out. Not in 100 years, not in 1,000, not until the stars burn out and the universe goes cold. The silence stretches. Aaron can hear his own heartbeat, can hear Lisa breathing behind him, can hear the wind moving through the trees. The devil stands. He's even taller now. His shadow covers the clearing, covers the cabin, covers everything. You've gotten smarter, Jack. I'm impressed. I really am. You've learned patience. You've learned sacrifice. You've almost learned to care about someone other than yourself. Then we have a deal. But you've made one mistake. The devil steps closer, close enough that Aaron can smell him now. Sulfur and ash and something sweet and rotten underneath. You think this is about you. You think you're the hero of this story. You think you're making some noble sacrifice. Jack's face goes pale. What? The punishment, the devil says softly, almost kindly, was never the walking, Jack. It was never the loneliness. It was never watching everyone you love die. Then what? The punishment was making you think you'd won. The devil reaches out and touches the cup. The cross doesn't burn him, doesn't stop him. He lifts it gently from Jack's hands. You've spent 182 years believing you outsmarted me. Believing you beat the devil himself. Believing you were special. Jack stumbles back. No, but you didn't beat me, Jack. You never did. Because I knew exactly what you'd do. I knew you'd trap yourself in your own cleverness. I knew you'd damn others rather than face your own death. I knew you'd turn your curse into something even worse. The devil's smile is almost sad now, almost pitying. You didn't trick me, Jack. You tricked yourself. And then Aaron sees it. Sees what Jack sees. The crowd behind Jack and the 247 souls, they're not looking at the devil. They're looking at Jack, and they're angry. Their faces are changing. The blank, empty expressions are cracking, giving way to something underneath. Rage, betrayal, hatred. Because they didn't choose this. They didn't make a deal. They were just living in Coldwater, just existing, just trying to get through their lives, and Jack Kiernan dragged them into his curse because he was too selfish, too proud.